If you put one of the best C1 paddlers in the world in a C2, there's no other possibility than a win.
I wouldn't say that. Like sometimes you can find really good C1 paddlers that can really not fit with anybody in C2 or crew boats. So like I think even beside our height difference, like how tall I am, and like I think even without with this we fit together really well, I think.
Yeah. Because the field is not yet that wide, there are only a few C2 boats now. How do you measure good performance, and how do you measure satisfaction when you cross the finish?
Well, I think there are a good number of C2 crews out there. Like we saw at World Championships last year, we had a full field of girls in the crew boats, and we got a really good race out of that. Like the other crews, especially the Hungarians, were right behind us, pushing us the whole way. So we know that those crews are out there. It's just a matter of maybe they don't have the numbers and they don't have the backing to get themselves to all the World Cup races. So we don't necessarily get the experience of racing them all the time, but we have our own personal goals that we're trying to achieve every race. Definitely in terms of feel, like we have an idea of how it should feel like when we're paddling well, and what it feels like when it's really not going well. And then our big goal for this year as well is we really wanted to break 2 minutes for the first time. So yeah. we're hoping that this happens this year. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully in Duisburg. Maybe if we have better conditions.
Yeah. Women's sea paddling, should it be Olympic or not? You both have two different perspectives on it, two different opinions. Laurence, let's start with yours. What do you think?
Well, I think as Mallory would think, like girls should be in the Olympics, even in C1 and C2, we should be. But the thing on what we don't really agree is the fact that, like, I think we should promote it. Like, it's not only a fact of showing like how good we are. I think it's more like inviting other people to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mallory, what's your opinion about this?
Well, I think every amateur athlete in any sport always has a special place in their heart for the Olympics, and that's always going to be held up as the pinnacle of competition. So certainly everyone wants to be there. And in terms of access to opportunity, I think that there's no excuse for girls not having an equal opportunity in that regard. But what I would say, and this is what Laurence was talking about in terms of our difference, is that I get a little bit sick of people expecting me to act as an advocate or act as a like a protester almost. I'm not here to stir things up. I'm here because I like paddling, and I see my role as an athlete. My role is to go out there and no matter what, do the best that I can, and that's where my job ends. It's up to other people to do that other work.
Yeah, and here we might agree a little bit. I also speak with a lot of athletes in different paddle sports, and the sport is so beautiful that it doesn't start or stop with Olympic Games. You know, we have World Cups, World Championships, where you can have a lot of fun, a lot of satisfaction, which is also beautiful and can give you a beautiful athlete career and life. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, for sure, it's like I started because I liked it, not because I was going to the Worlds or something like that. Like at first, my first 2 years, I was not able to stay in my boat, but I kept doing it because I liked it. So it's not a question of going to Olympics or going to the World Cups or championship or something like that. It's more like you like it, then do it. Yeah. It's like really a nice sport, beautiful sport. So I don't think it should stop people from doing it, even if they can't go to the Olympics.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's enough about this topic. And let's talk about, well, this beautiful sport you're doing, and also in the C2. Mallory, what brings the C2 you don't experience or have in the C1?
Well, we were talking about it earlier that the big difference between C1 and C2. Well, in the last couple of years since Laurence and I have been paddling together, I think that it's really developed my own paddling and made me a better, fully rounded paddler because before I really didn't enjoy crew boats and I'd prefer to be in my C1 all the time, and I'd get kind of frustrated when I had to get in and have my paddling determined by what other people were doing. But being in the back of the C2 with Laurence, it's a totally different experience to be. It's an exercise in cooperation and constantly adjusting what you're doing to try and complement the other person and watching and being so aware of how the boat is moving in a way that you don't necessarily have to be in C1. So it's almost less of a focus on yourself and more of a focus on the boat, which is kind of a nice symbolic thing.
Yeah. Well, that sounds really great, and that brings me to my last two questions, one for each of you.
All right.
Laurence,
Yes.
why is Mallory such a great partner to race with in the boat?
I would say first she's really patient with me. I'm kind of like, as she said, I've never really liked crew boats before, and with her being my partner, it's like I feel like we can be a good crew and we can paddle fast and have good races. So like that's one of the things I like about her. But she also someone who's really nice and like joyful. So I like it.
Yeah,
She's a nice person.
Well, sounds really good. Well, Mallory, the other way around. And why wouldn't you race with anyone else in the world except for Laurence?
Well, definitely from the first time that we got in the boat, it probably clicked right away, better than any other crew that I'd ever been with, and just so much more power than any other person that I'd ever paddled with. She has like such a long, powerful stroke that you can feel the boat surging every time. So it's definitely, in that way, it's like a real joy to paddle because you get to we've almost never had a race where we felt bad and like disappointed after, because we always get to go out there and we just feel awesome and get to enjoy it, which is, you know, a real gift in paddling.
Yeah. Well, ladies, it was my absolute pleasure talking with you, and I wish you good luck in Duisburg next week.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.